All Clone Troopers and Clone Commanders Foam Helmets Builds. Index. Hi, I'm Christian Alvarez, with the templates, and this video guide, you can build all Clone Troopers and Clone Commanders Foam Helmets. Captain Rex. Clone Troopers. Clone Commanders. Neyo and Wolffe. MacroBinoculars accessory. How to print. This is the first page of the template. With this template you can make all these Clone Troopers and Clone Commanders. Also includes these accessories for the helmet, visor, lamp and antennas, MacroBinoculars, and the stock in Rangefinder. Remember to validate with a ruler the printing scale. In case you want to print for an adult, always print from Adobe Acrobat Reader, because other PDF programs do not print to scale correctly. Print this page first, and after validating the scale, print the rest. In the Etsy publication, you can access the second image, to be able to print at another scale. Remember, print only at 100% for adults, because the table is only for kids. If you want to scale the helmet to a child, you have to use this table. First you measure the contour of his head, at the height of the forehead. And we write down the centimeters obtained, in this case 54 centimeters. Then you look up the value in centimeters in the table, and use the resulting percentage value. We will use that percentage value in the Adobe Acrobat Reader, in custom scale. Select the correct printer, and select the correct paper, which you can use letter or A4. If you print for an adult, indicate the option actual size. If you print for a child, you have to indicate the percentage in custom scale. If you print the templates for a child, you will see affected the ruler. That is why the scale is smaller. It also does not change the way of building it for an adult, it is exactly the same. Pages to print. On the second page we will have the guide of which pages to print for each helmet. Here we have the pages common to all. If you want to print the Captain Rex, you have to print the common ones to all, and then add the helmet's own pages. The same for all these Clone Troopers, are these pages. For the Clone Commanders, here. And for Neyo and Wolffe, these. Remember to use the first page of each piece as a guide, on how to join the parts. Head. For the head, we will have to join the parts A, B, C and D, as shown in the guide. Parts E and F, will then go over the center, like a Mohawk. We will cut the paper parts to join them, and obtain the mold, to use with the foam. Remember to join the parts, as indicated in the guide. Validate that it looks the same as the guide. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Use pins to fix the mold to the foam. We will transfer the mold to the foam. We will cut, to be able to draw the internal parts of the mold. The same for the center. Now we can draw those areas. To draw the other side, we will invert the mold. We will also cut the inner one. Never forget to indicate the union lines inwards. We will cut all the sides straight. Always try to cut with a sharp blade, to achieve clean cuts, and avoid sloppy joints. It is very important to give a circular shape, where it is indicated, in cyan and the molds. I'll use a metal cup, but you can use anything that helps you shape the foam. We will specially shape on the front and sides. The shape will help us to join the edges more easily, with contact cement. For smaller areas, you can use your hands, or a marker using the cap. To know when it's ready to glue, you'll notice that the edges come together easily. To glue, we can use any plastic container, and a funnel to dump the glue. We will let the glue in. I'll only load a half, because it's enough for the whole helmet. To apply the contact cement, we can bend the edges in this way, and we will apply the glue on all the edges. I printed some spatulas with the 3D printer. The important part is the saw at the end, that allows better distribution and adhesion of the glue. You can get them on Thingiverse, as spatula contact cement applicator, searching exact text. Once the contact cement has dried, we can begin to join. We will use paper tape to fix the joints. Always use protection when gluing or painting. Always use the union lines to join the parts. Also try to keep both sides at the same level. You can touch with your fingers to notice that level before gluing completely. Now we will glue the central Mohawk. For the central Mohawk, we will use 10 mm or 8 mm foam, for the thinnest line. For the widest line, we will use 5mm foam, although you can use 3mm if you don't have. Now we will cut straight. We will leave a surplus at the ends, to be able to cut flush. Also this strip, we will cut it straight, and we will leave a surplus at the ends. We will indicate a line, to know how far to put the glue. To this part, we will apply to the entire edge. We remove the paper tape. We will give more circular shape, but to the entire dome. Remember to emphasize, on the front. We will give more, but now with heat behind. Try to make the curvature of the back be similar to the curvature of the front. Also check that the contour of the dome is a circumference. We will glue the Mohawk on the dome. We will fix with paper tape, to indicate where to glue. Now we will cut the ends flush. The same from the other end. Back cover. For this part, we will use 5mm foam thickness, but you can use 8mm if you want. We will use a thinner foam, so we have more space inside the helmet. Remember to draw the union lines. In order to draw the interior on the foam, we will cut the mold. We will invert to draw the other side. Remember to draw the union lines inwards. We will cut all the sides straight. Joining back cover with head. We will put glue only on the side where the curves are. We will always join from the center to the sides. You can put a piece of paper on the other side, to prevent them from joining. Always using the union lines, unless you use another thickness of foam, and maybe it does not match. When joining the back cover with the dome, keep it on the same white line. Do not align to the edge. We will try to move the back cover inwards. Sides. Check which ones you have to do twice, with one of the inverted parts. For this part you can use scraps. First I will show you how to do it with 2 layers of 8 mm to get 16 mm. Now we will glue them, always leaving excess on the edges. We will cut the sides straight. This side we will cut slightly with the cut down. With a slight inclination. Now I will show how to do the same, but with a 16 mm thickness foam. Remember that this other side is inverted. Being thicker, it is more difficult to cut neatly. There is no difference between the one made with 2 layers, and the one made with 1. We will do this part with a layer of 16 mm, but you can do it with two of 8 mm. It is the same. First we will cut the upper circle. We will cut the sides straight. I will make a superficial cut, and then cut on it. This side, we will cut slightly with the cut down. For the upper circle, we will use a layer of 16 mm and another of 8 mm. But you can use 3 layers of 8 mm. Maybe it is easier to cut them, and it looks neater for being a circle. We will cut the circle with the edges, with the cut up. Now we will join the remaining 8 mm. We will cut this part straight. You can improve the edges with sandpaper, or with Dremel. We will indicate how far to put glue. For this part, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Remember to invert the mold for the other side. We will put behind 8 mm foam thickness to cut diagonally, from half or a little less. Now, we will cut with the cut up on the shortest side. The rest of the sides we will cut straight. For this part, we will use 5 mm foam thickness. Now I will cut this inner circle, but only if it is necessary to put the rangefinder. We will cut all sides straight. Here we will leave an excess, to be able to cut flush. Also with 5 mm foam thickness, we will make the 3 little strips. Here in my case, I will put the rangefinder later. Joining sides to the head. Before joining the parts, check the joining diagram. We will indicate to know where to put the glue. In this piece, put glue behind. Bend the piece to join it well. Remember to use the union lines. We will join the other side, and we will tape it to prevent it from opening. We will indicate to know where to put the glue. Bag tubes. The back tubes will consist of 3 strips, one wide, and another 2 thinner at the top and bottom. For the back tubes pieces, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. For this part we will cut straight all the sides. We will give curvature to the strip. To fix the curvature, we will use paper tape. Also for these pieces, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will cut the external sides with the cut down. The rest of the sides straight. I'll put glue first just on this half. We will join from the center to the sides, always using the union lines. Now we will join the other half. more circular shape to the back tubes. Joining back tubes with sides. We will join the sides to the edge of the back tubes. Use the union lines and join from the center to the sides. Front tubes. Remember to invert the mold to the other side. If you will do Neyo or Wolffe, you have to use the front tubes designed for them, that it shows later. We will cut the strips to be able to draw them on the foam. For this part, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. Remember to invert the mold for the other side. For the inner circle, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. For this other smaller circle, I will use 3 mm foam thickness. For the smallest circle of all, I will use 3 mm foam thickness. I will use this cylinder to cut them. We will cut all the sides straight. We will indicate the cut that we will have to make behind. It is important to give this part a circular shape. We will cut with this Excel blades cutter to remove the strips and be more precise. Now we will push with the part that does not cut to remove them. Once we remove all of them, we will put them back, but only halfway. Now we will glue them, one by one. We will put glue from behind. We will put more glue behind. To fix it, you can also use hot glue. We will cut superficially, forming a V, to be able to extract and fold more easily in that line. We will put glue on the line. We will close the line and fix it with paper tape. We are ready to join the front tube. We will give more circular shape to the piece. Also with heat to emphasize curves. Now we will glue the largest circle inside, leaving 1 centimeter distance to the edge. Once the circle is placed, we will glue it from behind with hot glue. Now we will join the other smaller circles together. We will glue where it can be seen centered. We will do the same with the inverted side, to get both side covers. We will cover the gaps between the sides piece from behind with the side covers. We will cut the internal squares, to be able to draw them on the foam. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness, although, you can use 5mm foam thickness, if you need more space inside the helmet. For the other side, we will invert the mold. We will cut the sides straight. We will align this edge with the edge of the side cover. You can mark to know where to put the glue. The same from the other side. Press from the inside out, to remove any gap. Captain Rex face. You can make the face of Captain Rex, but also of the clones, and of the Neyo or Wolffe, which are later. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. These sides we will have to cut with the cut up. For this, we will indicate approximately where to glue the layer. We will glue the layer 1.5 centimeters above where it ends. We will use a piece of 8mm to put on the back. We put glue on both parts to join them. Check the cutting diagram before starting to cut. We will cut these sides with the cut up. The rest of the sides, we will cut straight. You can give circular shape in this area. Captain Rex screws. To make the top face screw, we will use a cylinder, or a marker cap, to cut the circle. We will use 8 mm foam thickness. With the excess of the 2 layers of 8 mm, or 16 mm, you can make the bottom of the screw, using a longer cylinder that cuts the foam. You can shorten it, and give it the desired length. We will join the top to the bottom. Another way to make the base of the Captain Rex screws, is with sticks. Covering the sticks with 3 mm foam, and nailing on both sides. Captain Rex chin. We will cut the internal parts, to be able to draw them on the foam. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will cut the mold, to draw the inner lines. For this part we will use 5mm foam thickness. With another piece of 16mm, or 2 layers of 8mm, we will cut with a cylinder. We will cut it in the middle. We will join both halves. Now we will cover it with 1mm, or 2mm foam, to improve the surface. You can cover it with 3mm, if you have not less. I have covered the semicircle. I'll cut the leftover. On top, we will put a strip 5mm thick. We will cut the ends, to make it equal to the mold. This piece I will cut slightly all sides, with the cut up. But you can cut it straight. We will cut all the sides straight. We will cut all the sides straight. We will cut all the sides straight. Now we will glue the trapezoid to 90 degrees. Captain Rex teeth. You can make the teeth by making holes or leaving it as it is. I will do this with holes, but the teeth of the other clones, we will do without. Now we will cut the teeth, with 5 mm foam thickness. You can make strips with the width of the tooth, and then cut from top to bottom. I will do the same for the rest of the teeth. We will glue the teeth to the base. We will glue the teeth with fresh contact cement, to accommodate each tooth. I will do the same for the rest of the teeth. Let dry well before joining with another part, because the glue is fresh. Joining Captain Rex teeth with chin. Before joining the teeth with the bottom of the chin, we will give a circular shape. Always join from the center to the sides. To prevent it from moving in this way, we will glue the corners. Joining Captain Rex face with chin. It is important to put the edge of the face 1 or 2 millimeters on the central tooth, always joining from the center to the sides. You can give more circular shape, especially at the bottom. Clone Trooper face and chin. For the Clone Trooper, or Clone Commander, we will add this small rectangle to the back circle. This part of the chin is the same as for the Captain Rex, so you can go seaman at 56, with 20 seconds. The parts with many curves can be done with a cutter instead of scissors. We will cut the interior to be able to draw on the foam. We will add this small rectangle to the back circle. With 3 mm thickness foam, we will add the rectangle in the back circle. You have to glue it in this place, in the center. Clone Trooper face. For the face, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will use a piece of 8 mm to put on the back. For this, we will indicate approximately where to glue the layer. We will glue the layer 1.5 centimeters above where it ends. These sides we will have to cut with the cut up. Try not to overcut in these areas. The rest of the sides we will cut straight. In this part, we will cut the end of the back, to make room for the teeth. For these tight curves, I will use this Excel Blades cutter. You can give circular shape in this area. We will indicate this line behind, to make a fold. We will make a cut in the form of a triangle. We will put glue on the cut. With paper tape we will fix. If you overcut you can join. Clone Trooper teeth. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. For the teeth we will use 5 mm foam thickness. You can make the teeth by making holes, or leaving it as it is. I will do this without holes. You can make strips, with the width of the tooth, and then cut from top to bottom. I will do the same for the rest of the teeth. We will glue the teeth to the base. We will glue the teeth with fresh contact cement, to accommodate each tooth. Let dry well before joining with another part, because the glue is fresh. Clone Trooper chin. For this part we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will cut all the sides straight. We will transfer back these lines, to make the fold. We will cut forming a triangle. We will glue the cuts to make the fold. The lower part of the chin is the same as for the Captain Rex, so you can go seaman at 58 and 8 seconds. joining clone teeth with chin. We will join the teeth to the chin. I forgot to cut, but it's not a problem. Always join from the center to the sides. Joining clone face with chin. It is important to put the edge of the face 1 or 2 millimeters over the central tooth. Always joining from the center to the sides. Remember to lean the face corner on the corner of the central tooth. You can give circular shape in this area. Visor, lamp, and antennas. These are the accessories for the clone commanders Dune, Kamina, Cody, Fox, and Thorn. Check the cutting diagram before cut. For the lamp, we will use 3 mm foam thickness. If you don't have it, you can use 4 mm or 5 mm. This side we will cut with the cut down. The rest of the sides, we will cut straight. I cut the square with the cut down, but it is better to cut it straight. We will give a little circular shape. We will put glue on all the edges. We will join the sides. you can add something that simulates a glass. You can also put a small battery-powered flashlight inside. The big antenna is only for Cody. I will use 16mm foam thickness, but you can use 2 layers of 8mm. Also for the base of the small antenna, we will use 16mm. For the top triangle of the large antenna, we will also use this foam, but later. We will cut all the sides straight. You can sand the edges for a better finish. We will cut the surplus, so it gets the same width as the antenna. For the base of the small antenna, we will cut all the straight sides. Now we will cut the corners, to give a circular shape to these. We will also sand the edges. For the top of the small antenna, you can use a stick or long tube. We will cover the stick with 3mm foam thickness. I will nail down it in the center. For the visor we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will invert the mold for the other side. We will cut these sides with the cut down. We will also cut the curved side with the cut down. this last side, we will cut it straight. This side with the cut down. Whenever indicated with cut down, I mean cut at 45 degrees with cut facing down. The rest of the sides we will cut straight. You can always check the cutting guide to know how to make the cuts. We will use this rectangular part to lock the visor on the helmet. We will use 8mm for this part. We will cut all straight. As I indicated before, we will use it to lock the visor. We will glue it behind. We will give upward curvature in this part. The front and side should be straight. Commander Cody Chin. We will use 8mm foam thickness. You can do part J with 2 layers of 8mm, or one of 16mm. We will cut all the sides straight. I will do part J with 16mm foam thickness. You can make it with 2 layers of 8mm. We will make this notch above, approximately 5mm wide, and 1 centimeter long in the center. For this part we will use 5mm foam thickness. You can cut straight, but I like to give it a smooth cut up. Clone Commander Cody Chin Mohawks. For this strip, we will use 5mm foam thickness. Invert the mold for the other side. We will cut the sides straight. For the thinnest strips, we will use 10mm, although you can use 8mm. We will cut the sides straight. We will indicate how far to put glue. We will cut the excess. Neyo and Wolffe face and chin. We will cut the internal lines to draw them on the foam. For Neyo, you have to remove the spikes in orange. For Wolffe you have to leave them. Neyo and Wolffe face. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will cut the internal parts to be able to draw them on the foam. make the top of the visor, we will use 3 mm foam thickness, but you can use 5 mm if you do not have. We cut with scissors straight all the contour. Once we have both, we will cut the interior. For the ends and shortcuts, we will use this Excel blades cutter. Now we will cut the contour straight. We will add an 8 mm layer behind each side. We will glue the layer 1.5 centimeters above where it ends. We will cut diagonally with the cut up. The rest of the sides we will cut straight. We will make space for the teeth. It is important to emphasize the fold in the center, for Neyo and Wolffe. Now we will make the superficial cuts behind, to mark the folds. We will cut forming a triangle, and extract. We will add glue to the cuts. We will use paper tape to fix the center fold. Neyo and Wolffe chin. For the chin we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will cut the interior, to be able to draw it on the foam. We will cut all the sides straight. For the smallest parts that go over the chin, we will use 5mm foam thickness. We will cut all the sides straight. Now we will glue the trapezoid to 90 degrees. For the upper part of the chin, we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will cut all the sides straight. We will cut the teeth, to be able to draw them in the foam. We will transfer the lines back. We will cut in a V shape to mark the fold. We will put glue in the holes. Neyo and Wolffe teeth. We will cut the internal parts to be able to draw them on the foam. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. You can make the teeth by making holes or leaving it as it is. I will do this without holes, but the teeth of the Captain Rex we did it with. Now we will cut the teeth with 5mm foam thickness. You can make strips the width of the tooth, and then cut from top to bottom. I will do the same for the rest of the teeth. We will glue the teeth to the base. We will glue the teeth with fresh contact cement, to accommodate each tooth. Let dry well before joining with another part, because the glue is fresh. We will cut all the sides straight. We will join the teeth with the chin. Joining Neyo and Wolffe teeth with chin. We will join the teeth with the chin. Always join from the center to the sides. Joining Neyo and Wolffe face with chin. We will join the chin with the face. Always join from the center to the sides. Neyo and Wolffe front tubes. For Neyo and Wolffe, we will use different front tubes. Unlike the other front tube, is closed at its front end. We will cut to draw the strips on the foam. For this part we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will invert the mold for the other side. This edge and this one on this side, we will cut with the cut facing down. The rest of the sides, we will cut straight. We will cut with this Excel blades cutter, to remove the strips, and be more precise. Now we will push with the part that does not cut, to remove them. Once we remove all of them, we will put them back. But only halfway. We will put glue from behind. We will put more glue behind to fix it. You can also use hot glue. We will transfer the line back. We will cut superficially, forming a V, to be able to extract and fold more easily in that line. We will put glue on the line. We will close the line and fix it with paper tape. We will give circular shape to the piece, before glue. This piece is quite difficult to join, because it exerts a lot of pressure. For this we will prepare paper tape, to stop the pressure. The union of these areas are difficult. Always using the union lines. So that it does not open, we will also put tape behind. Now we will join this final part. We will give heat to emphasize curves. This union tends to open, but we can seal it later, with plastic sealing. Fixing face for Neyo. If you make the face of Neyo, it is necessary to make the central hole. Also remove the wolf tips, or draw them straight. We cut the spikes. I will use the Excel Blades cutter. Back trapezoid, for Neyo and Wolffe. For Neyo and Wolffe, the posterior trapezoid has a cut with depth in the middle. The hole is about 5 or 6 mm wide, and about 3 to 4 mm deep. Looking like this. Faces, chins, and front tubes. The Captain Rex face goes in conjunction with these front tubes, and also with this chin. The face of the clone troopers goes together with this same front tubes, and also with this chin. But if you want to make the clone commanders, for example Cody, you have to use this other chin. If you want to make Neyo or Wolffe, you have to use this different front tubes, closed on the front, and use this other chin different from the others. I mean, for Captain Rex, we will put this face, with this chin. The clone troopers with these front tubes and chin. And for Cody, this other chin. For Neyo and Wolffe, we will use this face, with this front tube, and this chin. Joining front tubes. We will put the front tubes for Captain Rex, clone troopers and clone commanders. And you will have to put the front tubes for Neyo and Wolffe, in your case. We will join the corresponding front tube. We will also add glue here, then the rest we will join later, with the side cover. We will always align using the union line. Once we join both sides, we will join with the side cover. Covering front and back tubes, with sides. We will indicate to know where to put the glue. Press in this area to emphasize. We will cut what is left flush. If you join the front tubes of Neyo and Wolffe, it will look like this. Joining faces. We will join the faces to the helmet. In my case I will join the Captain Rex, but it is the same for anyone. We will make room here for it to be aligned. To avoid this gap in this union, we are going to do the following. We will indicate 1 centimeter on each side of the difference. We will cut on the line, from one point to another. In this way, we generate a downward movement. So we eliminate the gap. This part we will shrink the minimum, to give place to the viewer, that goes behind. We will indicate where to put glue. We will draw where the face will go. Now we will join the front. Remember to press, to avoid the gap. Also use the union lines. We will glue the bottom part. We will glue it on the mark that we indicated previously. We will put this point flush with the edge of the circle. In this way. We will join from the front to the back. The same from the other side. We will glue the side covers on the face. joining chins. We will glue the chin using on the lines previously drawn. For Cody's chin, we will join in the same way. The same for Neyo and Wolffe's chin. We will draw the distance we will leave, approximately 1 centimeter. Now we will join the remaining sides, and the bottom. Foam Rangefinder. We will cut the interior to be able to draw it. The main circle of the rangefinder can be done in two ways. Directly with 16mm foam thickness, like the one I'm making, or with 2 layers of 8mm. The sloppy outline can be covered with foam, from 1mm to 3mm thick. The second option is to use 2 layers of 8mm. It can also be cut with scissors. You can improve the edges by sanding them. We will join both layers. Then we will cover it with 1mm foam, even if it is 1 layer, or 2 layers. We will indicate where to put the glue. We will cut the leftover. For this part, and the following, we will use 8mm foam thickness. For this part, and the following, we will use 8 mm foam thickness. We will invert the mold for the other side. Always check the cutting guide. We will cut with the cut down the sides. Only this last one will be cut straight. We will cut all sides with the cut down. We will cut sides with the cut down. Only this large one will be cut straight. We will cut sides with the cut down. Only this last one will be cut straight. We will cut sides with the cut down. Only this last one will be cut straight. We will join all the parts. We will put glue only on diagonal cuts. We will join the sides, as indicated in the guide. In this sector, you can emphasize the fold. For these parts we will use 3 mm foam. If you do not have, you can use 5 mm. You can add a green visor, or whatever you like, for the rangefinder. For the circle, you can use a cap of the same diameter. You can also cut it with scissors, or cutter. We will cover the stick with the foam. we will add a green film behind the trapezoid as a visor. When you glue small details, it is better to do it with the fresh glue and let it dry, and just applying glue on one side. With 5mm foam we will cover this strip. You can also make the line that has the rangefinder in the middle. We will give heat to emphasize the line. You can also sand the edges. To be able to nail the stick, we will get a point. We will nail to join these parts. If you want to leave it fixed, you can then glue it. We will use another stick to nail the base of the rangefinder to the helmet. We will join nailing both parts. When nailing in the circular base, we will leave the cut of the covering of the circle down. We will use the same mold to indicate the center. .3D model rangefinder. If you want, you can 3D print the rangefinder in this link. Check link in the description. It is detachable and rotates 90 degrees. We will insert the rangefinder 3D in the helmet. You can use a cap or tube of the same diameter, or a little less. We will glue it after painting it. MacroBinoculars. For these pieces, we will use 8mm foam thickness. We will cut the internal circle, to draw it on the foam. Always check the cutting diagram. From the lines forward, we will cut with the cut down, the rest straight. We will cut the circle with the Excel blades cutter. We validate that enter the rangefinder circle. We will cut these 3 sides with the cut down, the rest straight. The same with the other. We will indicate the line behind. We will cut forming a small V or triangle, to mark the fold. We will put glue in the holes. We close the gaps, to mark the fold. We cut these difficult curves, with the Excel blades cutter. For this rectangle, we will also use 8mm foam thickness. We will cut all the sides with the cut down. We will cut the inner line, to be able to draw it. We will join the parts. We will put glue only up to the line. We will always join from the front to the back. We will sand the edges. For these other parts, we will use 5 mm foam thickness. We will cut 3 sides with the cut down, and another straight. We will cut straight, the shortest of the long sides. We will cut like the previous one. We will join these parts. We will put glue in all diagonal cuts. We will indicate internal 5 mm around the rectangle. We will cut along the internal line that we have indicated. We will join both parts. Try to keep the same distance on all sides. We will add these lines with 8 mm foam thickness. We will join the lines to the binocular. We will make the semicircle, with 8 mm foam thickness. We will make the semicircle, with 8 mm foam thickness. We will remove a little height from the semicircle, to make a difference with the line. With 3 mm foam thickness, we will make the strips. We will cut the strips flush. We will join the semicircle. We will put together, so that the difference is marked, and then we press. Optionally, we can add a support to both sides, in the middle. We will use 8 mm foam thickness. On this side, we will put a small Velcro to fix the position of the macro binoculars. we will indicate the contact area of the Velcro. To make the MacroBinoculars viewer, you can use some film and polarize it, or directly polarized. You can also do it with green film. The height of the viewer is 1.5 centimeters. Applying water, and putting the polarized on the transparent film. The visor, I will glue it after painting, otherwise you can glue it, and mask it. Captain Rex. The screws can be removed to paint the helmet, and then glue them at the end. Clone Troopers. Clone Commanders, Cody. For Cody has another chin. The visor, lamp and antennas. We will use the posterior locks to hook them in the holes. The large antenna will be placed on this side, covering more than half of the side. We will put the small antenna behind the side, in this place. You can see where to put each accessory in the guide for the visor, lamp and antennas. The side Mohawks, we will put on each side of the central, leaving approximately 1.5 centimeters. Neyo and Wolffe. Neyo has this hole here, and he doesn't have the spikes in the viewfinder. Has a different chin than the rest like Wolffe. Has only the circular base of the rangefinder. Wolffe instead has the full rangefinder as Captain Rex. Also like Neyo, they have the cut on the rear trapezius. Sealing helmet with heat. We will seal inside and then outside. Be careful with this area, avoid giving too much heat, and giving heat near. It also avoids burning the Velcro, you can cover it with paper tape. You can take advantage to give more circular shape in some areas. especially in the front of the head. With heat, remember to seal the screws. Fixing joints and details. Before sealing the joints, you can sand the edges of the joints. We will draw and mark the lines of the helmet. Remember that each helmet has different lines. Look at the reference images in the recommendations file, so you can copy the lines that correspond to the helmet you have decided to make. The same when painting your helmet, use those images to paint, and use the colors shown. In my case, I have chosen Captain Rex. We will leave a distance to the bottom of the strip, about 1.5 centimeters. We will make a shallow cut, to emphasize with heat later. Try to make both sides symmetrical. We mark the lines with heat. In the reference images, you can copy the designs of each helmet, and then paint. To seal the joints, you can use DAP Quick Seal Plus, or any plastic or acrylic sealant. We will seal the joints, but you can also fill in certain places, to make the helmet more homogeneous. I will use a flexible rubber spatula, but you can use any other that is comfortable for you. After a while, we will run water with our finger, to smooth the surface. We will do the same on the other side, and in the center back. We will also fix other areas. We will also fill other areas. Base paint. We will mask some areas before paint. We will not paint the base of the rangefinder, so that the glue will grip the part well. As a base, I will apply this varnish, but I recommend that you apply Plasti Dip spray instead. I will use a sponge to apply it. Same with the MacroBinoculars. Finally, we will apply a plastic base to later paint, also applying with a sponge. Remember that you can directly apply the Plasti Dip on the foam. Ready to paint in next video. The teeth are a bit high, so I improved them in the template. I made them shorter, like this.